My name's Mick and I'm a Halstead resident.
My name is Chris Marshall and I run retail business.
My name's Brian Samuel, this is Lynn Samuel and we're from Matthews Close in Halstead.
My name's Lindsay Horsley and I live in Earls Combe.
Yeah, my name's Lisa and I live in Braintree.
It's Paul Mays and this is my son Toby and we're from Braintree.
The town centre's surviving reasonably well so far with the recession, as they call it. We could do with a few more decent shops. So that's empty. There's a couple of empty shops around, one at the top of the hill, one down the back there, the old 90p shop is gone.
I come to shop in Halstead because I come to the market on a Friday or a Saturday, and I also use the small Sainsbury's here as well.
Well, I've come to the shops in Halstead today to do some banking, a bank I need to visit, but I think it's a nice town with lots of kind of small independent shops, and it's easy to park, and the parking's free for 2 hours, which is plenty of time to get up and down the high street and have a good look about.
I think it's a bit worrying that there's so many empty shops around. I think an effort could be made to, a better effort could be made to, to put business into those shops.
High Street of Halstead, yeah, it's got lots of different shops, but I think we've lost a few of the more. We're losing a few more of the individual shops, and the cheaper ones are coming in, and it's ladies' fashions, I find, mostly with the Co-op closing and Town Road shutting, and it's sort of somebody from my generation already got lots of money for boutiques or for the youngsters, but some of us that are over 50, we need something, yes, like that.
Well, normally a variety of shops would attract, but at the moment it's a bit of a problem with that. I think independent shops do, because Halstead has always been known as a town that has independent shops rather than big name shops. But not having a big name shop doesn't really help, because a big name shop will bring more people in as well.
Well, I like all the little different individual shops, especially if I'm looking for presents and that kind of thing. It's nice to get something that's a bit different, not from the usual sort of high street chains.
If I didn't live in Halstead, I don't think I'd drive into Halstead specifically, no, because of parking. If you're coming in for a long time, like to have lunch and to do shopping, you're restricted in the solar car park, because my daughter got clamped when she went to the hairdressers. Well, not clamped, but fined, so she had a big fine to pay. And you're restricted for half an hour in the high street, which isn't much good if you want to get something to eat or even a coffee.
I know we do get an awful lot of large lorries that come through, which I suppose their sat-nav gives them the straight from A to B, and so they come through, which, yeah, that gets a bit noisy at times.
I don't know where you could pedestrianise, really.
No,
I mean, this is all pedestrianised, so,
yeah.
There's only certain areas where you could pedestrianise.
I'm not sure that Halstead is the right place to have a continental market. I'm not sure if Halstead people would go for something like that.
I like the fact it's accessible, it's close, it's bigger than a village, and it's very sort of containable.
So I'd like to see less charity shops and better parking, but I don't think that's going to happen in my lifetime anyway.
Anything to make it look attractive so as people want to stop, where instead of just going straight through to Sudbury, they think, let's find a car park and have a look round. It looks good here, and that's what you need to attract people in, really.
I think when we've had the continental market, it's been really popular, and there's been lots of people about.
He wouldn't attract me though.
No, because you'd have a shop.
There's a few empty shops in the town, so having them all full would encourage people to come in. Okay. Better car parking is always a problem, because a lot of places do have free car parking in some towns, but we don't here, so that's a real major problem, that is.
But what I'd like to see is a proper market, not a market full of £3.50 loaves and £10 for a fabby chicken and that kind of thing, but to have what markets are all about when you go to those countries, which is not about overpriced, rare things.
Yeah, trees are good. It hasn't something that's occurred to me, to be honest. I mean, I like it when shops and buildings have lots of bright flowers outside, and the house is in bloom, and down by the river when there's loads of bright flowers. That looks really good. Trees, I'm not so sure about.
Parking's always awkward, no matter where you go, and at the moment they're talking about losing some parking in the high street, which won't help. And parking's expensive no matter where you go these days. But I hate having to spend money, if you see what I mean.
Yes, it would improve the ambience. A few trees and a few bit more flowers. I mean, Halstead's tops for flowers anyway, isn't it? You know, so I don't think it could do much to improve the amount of flowers, and they spend a fortune on flowers here already every year. But yeah, tree planting scheme would be good. Would make it look nicer.